is known as the City of Dreams, a place where luxury and wealth seem to have no limits. It's the favorite destination of celebrities, entrepreneurs, and tourists seeking unique experiences. But what many don't see is the dark side behind all the glitz and glamour. While skyscrapers shine and malls showcase international brands, thousands of workers live in precarious conditions, facing exploitation, inequality, and human rights abuses. This video goes beyond Dubai's shimmering facade to uncover a reality that is both shocking and thought-provoking. You'll discover shocking stories of workers whose passports were confiscated, data on the social inequality that divides the city, and the environmental impact of its rapid development. This is a portrait of Dubai that you won't find on postcards. Get ready for a journey that will change the way you see this city. But before diving into this reality, it's important to understand how Dubai became what it is today. Let's start from the beginning, the transformation of a desert into a global metropolis. Just a few decades ago, Dubai was merely a small village of fishermen and traders, surrounded by sand dunes and harsh weather. But everything changed with the discovery of oil in the 1960s. Suddenly, the city had access to a wealth of resources that made it possible to dream big. With oil revenues, Dubai began its transformation. The visionary leadership of the Al Maktoum family invested in infrastructure, tourism, and trade, creating a city that became a symbol of progress and innovation. Today, Dubai is one of the world's leading financial and tourist hubs. Its diversified economy attracts global investments, and its strategic location makes it an international center for business and travel. But this rapid growth has come at a cost. While skyscrapers shine and malls showcase luxury brands, thousands of migrant workers sustain this development through sweat and sacrifice. They are the backbone of Dubai's dream, but are often invisible to those who only see the glamour. But who are these workers? What are the conditions in which they live and work? In the next chapter, we will delve into the reality behind the construction sites and uncover stories that are rarely told. Dubai's construction sites are the heart of the city's development, but they are also the epicenter of a harsh and often overlooked reality. Here, thousands of migrant workers face conditions that challenge human dignity. We work more than 12 hours a day, under heat that reaches 50 degrees C. Many of us get sick, but we can't stop. If we complain, we're threatened or fired. Stories like this are common. Many workers come from countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, lured by the promise of better wages. However, what they find is a reality of exploitation and abuse. According to reports from human rights organizations, many workers lack access to proper safety equipment or medical care. Additionally, they sleep in overcrowded accommodations with up to 10 people sharing a small room. But the working conditions are just part of the problem. Many workers also face a shocking practice, the confiscation of their passports by their employers. Let's explore how this happens and its consequences. Imagine arriving in a country in search of a better life, only to have your passport confiscated by your employer. Without documents, you are trapped, unable to leave the country or change jobs. This is the reality for many workers in Dubai. Real stories. A worker whose identity is protected recounts, "When I arrived, my employer took my passport and said I would only get it back when I finished my contract. But the contract never ends. They always find a way to keep me here." This practice, though illegal, is widely used by employers to keep workers under control. Without a passport, they cannot report abuse or seek help. Many spend years without, seeing their families trapped in a cycle of exploitation. The lack of freedom leads to despair, and in some cases, even depression and suicide. As workers fight for their freedom, the social inequality in Dubai becomes increasingly evident. In the next section, we'll explore the vast divide between local citizens and immigrant workers. Dubai is a city of extremes. While local citizens enjoy a life of luxury and privilege, immigrant workers live on the fringes of society, often without access to basic rights. While locals have access to well-paying jobs and generous benefits, many immigrants earn less than $300 per month, working in unhealthy and dangerous conditions. This inequality creates a deep divide in society. While some enjoy everything Dubai has to offer, others struggle just to survive. But inequality is not the only issue. Many workers also face human rights abuses. Let's explore this topic in the next section. Beyond poor working conditions and social inequality, many workers in Dubai face severe human rights abuses. These violations range from wage denial to cases of violence and harassment. My boss would hit me if I didn't work fast enough. I wanted to report it, but I was afraid of losing my job and being deported. Stories like this are common but often go unreported to the authorities. The lack of legal protection for migrant workers leaves them vulnerable to abuse. Even when workers attempt to seek justice, the system often works against them. Legal proceedings can take years, and many give up due to a lack of resources or fear of retaliation. Cases like these reveal how systemic exploitation is in Dubai. Workers are treated as disposable, and their rights are ignored in the pursuit of profit. While these abuses persist, Dubai's rapid development also has a profound impact on the environment. In the next section, we'll explore the environmental consequences of this relentless drive for growth. Dubai's rapid development affects not only people, but also the environment. The construction of artificial islands, skyscrapers, and luxury resorts comes with a significant environmental cost. Dubai relies on desalination to obtain drinking water, a process that consumes a great deal of energy and impacts marine ecosystems. Additionally, the excessive use of air conditioning and pollution from heavy traffic contribute to climate change. As the city grows, the environment pays the price. The loss of natural habitats and the depletion of resources are challenges Dubai will have to face in the future. These stories and data reveal a reality that goes beyond Dubai's glamour. But to truly understand the impact of these issues, we need to hear the voices of those who live this reality every day. In the next chapter, we'll listen to real testimonies from workers and experts. Testimonies and real stories. Behind the numbers and data, there are real stories of people who dedicate their lives to building the dream of Dubai. These are the voices that are rarely heard, but bear the weight of this reality. Testimony 1. I came to Dubai 5 years ago, hoping to provide a better life for my family. But here, I work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I can barely send money back home. My passport was confiscated, and I can't return to watch my children grow up. Stories like this are common among construction workers who make up a large part of Dubai's workforce. Testimony 2. I've been working as a domestic worker for 3 years. My employer treats me poorly and I have no days off. If I complain, he threatens to deport me. I feel trapped and alone. Domestic workers, often coming from Asian and African countries, face abuses ranging from exploitation to physical and psychological violence. Testimony 3. My friend died on the construction site. He fell from a height and there was no safety equipment. The company did nothing to help his family. It made me realize that, to them, we are just numbers. These testimonies reveal the human face of a reality many choose to ignore. They are stories of pain, resilience, and above all, the fight for dignity. To better understand the situation of workers in Dubai, we spoke with experts who study and fight against these human rights violations. Dubai is an extreme example of how rapid development can create deep inequalities. Migrant workers are essential to the economy, but are treated as disposable. This creates a system of exploitation that benefits only a small elite. Dubai's economic model relies on cheap, exploited labor. Unless this changes, the abuses will persist. It is necessary to rethink development to make it fairer and more sustainable. These voices show us that Dubai's reality is complex and full of contradictions. But what can we do to change this situation? In the next chapter, we will reflect on solutions and actions that can make a difference. After hearing the stories and seeing the data, it's impossible not to ask, to what extent does Dubai's luxury justify the exploitation of thousands of people? And what can we do to change this reality? Dubai is a symbol of progress and innovation, but at what cost? Should economic development be built on the exploitation of workers and environmental degradation? While tourists and investors enjoy the city's glamour, thousands of people work in extreme conditions to sustain this dream. Is this progress? Dubai is not an isolated case. In many parts of the world, rapid development generates inequalities and abuses. What is our responsibility as global citizens to address these problems? Companies and governments have the power to change this reality. Why don't they? Does profit and economic growth justify the violation of human rights? These questions have no simple answers, but they are essential to drive change. We must reflect on our role in this system and seek solutions that prioritize human dignity and sustainability. To better understand the context of Dubai, it is important to look at global data. How does this city compare to other places facing similar issues? Dubai is not the only city facing challenges related to worker exploitation and environmental impact. However, the scale and visibility of its problems make it an emblematic case. This data shows that Dubai's problems are part of a global context. To solve them, we need solutions that involve governments, businesses, and civil society worldwide. Change begins with awareness and action. Each of us can make a difference, whether by pressuring governments and businesses or supporting organizations that fight for workers' rights. Here are some ways to take action. Educate yourself. Research working conditions in Dubai and other parts of the world. Share. Use your social networks to spread information and raise awareness. Support. Donate to organizations that advocate for the rights of migrant workers. Demand change. Urge companies and governments to adopt fairer and more sustainable practices. Together, we can build a world where development does not mean exploitation, and where the luxury of a few does not depend on the suffering of many. Change starts with you. Throughout this video, we explored the dark side of Dubai, a city that shines on the global stage but hides stories of exploitation, inequality, and human rights abuses. We saw how migrant workers sustain Dubai's dream with their sweat and sacrifice, often under inhumane conditions. From construction sites to overcrowded accommodations, withheld passports, and the lack of justice, each story reveals a facet of this complex reality. The data shows that these issues are not isolated, but part of a system that prioritizes profit over human dignity. Dubai may be a city of dreams, but it is also a place where many live nightmares. Understanding this reality is the first step toward driving change. Each of us has the power to act, whether by sharing information, supporting organizations, or demanding fairer practices. This video is not just a denunciation, but also an invitation to reflection and action. Together, we can build a future where development is synonymous with justice and respect. Share this video, spread this message, and be part of the change. Dubai, the brilliance that hides the darkness, but the light of awareness can illuminate the path to a better future.